This is a Vinyasa yoga class in 2 parts. The first is an hour long and focuses mainly on flexibility. The second part is half an hour long and focuses on balancing postures. Come to a comfortable cross-legged position with the palms of your hands together in front of the chest. Take long, deep breaths in and out through the nose. Try to keep the mouth closed for the whole practice. Bring the feet on top of the inner thighs with the soles of the feet facing the sky and the backs of the wrists resting on the knees, creating a tripod, spreading the weight evenly between each arm and the sitting bones. On each inhalation, the entire chest expands up towards the sky, and on each exhalation, the body is like a bellows pushing all the air out as much as possible so that the lungs are empty. Inhale up and exhale down to the left. This is a seated side stretch pose. Going to be stretching the right side ribs by reaching the right arm over the head. Inhale up and exhale down to the other side. The right elbow coming towards the mat. Keep the left sitting bone rooted on the floor here. Don't let it lift up as the tendency will be. Inhale back up and exhale down to the other side. Keep the chest open and pointed towards the sky. Look up towards the sky. Don't collapse the chest forward. Inhale up and exhale down to the right. The left arm is going to be reaching beyond the head towards the wall on the other side, or the tree. Inhale back up and exhale back to a seated position. Inhale, interlace the fingers, stretch them back, squeezing the shoulder blades, and exhale, bring them round to the right hand side, taking hold of the foot with the left hand and putting the right hand onto the outside of the left knee to twist all the way around and look over the left shoulder. Inhale back to center, interlace the fingers, stretch the arms back, and exhale, bring the hands over to the other side with the left arm and the left hand coming onto the right knee. Twisting through the abdomen, try to feel how the spine rotates all the way from the lower vertebra up to the upper vertebra. Interlace the fingers, stretch them back, and bring them back to the knees. I'm just going to turn around here so that you can see how I grip my hands in the following posture. The right arm comes up and the left arm goes underneath. The fingers are going to make a hook, and you're going to try and squeeze the fingers to bring the elbows as close together as possible and in line as much as possible. Releasing and going on to the other side, lifting the left arm up and reaching the right arm down and back. If the fingers don't reach each other, then it will suffice just to reach the hands towards each other without actually interlocking them. Now come onto all fours in a tabletop position with the hips directly above the knees and the shoulders directly above the hands. Inhale, suck the belly in, tuck the chin in, and exhale, expand the chest forward, lift the chin up, curl the tail up, and exhale back to the cat position by arching through the back. Inhale, sending the abdomen down, compressing the lower back for cow. And exhale back into cat, drawing the abdomen in, rounding through the back. Continue in this cycle and at your own pace. Back to a neutral spine. Lift the right leg behind you, extend the leg out long, and then lift up the left hand and grab the outside of the right foot just above the sitting bones, and then kick the right foot into the left hand to open up through the left chest, keeping the right shoulder strong and the right arm rooted to maintain the balance. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, curl the spine for cat. And exhale back to neutral. Now for the other side, inhale the left leg up. Bend at the knee. Reach the right arm back. Grab the outside of the left foot and kick into the hand. Let the right arm be completely relaxed, allowing the foot to kick it back as far as possible. Remember to keep stable in the rooted limbs as well. Exhale back down. Inhale back to cat, tucking the belly button in. And exhale back to neutral. Tuck the toes, inhale, and press up into downward dog. Lifting the hips high, I'm going to create a V shape. The belly button's going to come towards touching the upper thighs. And then for downward dog twist, we're going to take the left hand and grab the outside of the right ankle. Take care to keep the left leg straight. It might want to bend here. And keep reaching the heels towards the mat the entire time. And stay rooted through the first finger and thumb of the right hand. Exhale back to the other side. Inhaling to reach the other arm behind you to grab the ankle. You're going to be looking underneath the armpit up at the sky here. Trying to use the right hand to rotate as much as possible and exhale back to downward facing dog. Let the shoulder blades relax here and put more weight in the hands if you find that there's more, that it's predominantly in the feet. Then sit back into kneeling and come into a child's pose, lowering the torso down over the thighs and letting the shoulders melt over the knees. The hands are turned with the palms facing up right next to the feet. We're going to come up into a wide child's pose, just widening the knees and then reaching forward this time, settling the buttocks over the heels and allowing the lower body, the lower torso, to sink down into the floor as the arms stretch far out in front. Try to make sure that the chin rests on the mat here rather than putting the face into the mat, because this will give more of a stretch into the chest as you reach forward. It's deeply relaxing, so take a few deep breaths here. Inhale and come back to child's pose. Exhaling as you fold down. Inhale, reach the arms forward. Exhale, lift the hips, tuck the toes, and stretch out into downward facing dog again. Let the chest reach towards the knees, and then step or hop the feet forward to come into a standing position with the hands in prayer at the chest. Thumbs pushing into the sternum and the sternum pushing into the thumbs. Inhale, come into a back bend, reaching the prayer behind you and thrusting the hips forward, and exhale, come into a forward bend, placing the forearms onto the backs of the calves. Now bring the left hand down in front of the left foot, bend the left knee and straighten the right arm up towards the sky. Look up with the left eye onto the right thumb so that there is a full rotation of the head and chest up towards the sky. Don't fold forward, keep the chest broad and facing the sky. Exhale, bring the right hand down and to the other side, lifting the left arm up and bending in the right knee. The left leg must remain straight so that the stretch occurs in the hamstring, and the left hip should begin to sink. Same with the right hip. This will increase the stretch in the hamstring. And exhale, bring the hand back down to the mat. And draw the chest in towards the thighs. Then interlace the fingers behind the back, lower the hands down, and try to reach the hands towards the ground as much as possible. Ideally, the legs should be perpendicular to the floor here, not leaning back so much. This is squeezing in between the shoulder blades to try and push the hands as far away from the body as possible and down towards the floor. Inhale to release, back to a forward bend. Exhaling into the legs and inhale back up into a back bend. There might be some dizziness, that's quite alright. Just meditate through the head rush in the standing posture. Inhale back up, reaching the arms back, expanding through the chest, and exhale down to another forward bend. Place the hands on either sides of the feet, step the right foot back for runner's lunge, and inhale the left foot back to plank. Exhale, lower down to a low plank with the elbows at 90 degrees. Inhale up into upward facing dog, stretching through the chest, the throat, lifting the chin up, tucking the toes, lifting the hips and back into downward facing dog. Keep reaching the hips high as the chest softens towards the mat in downward dog. Inhale the right leg up, and exhale, step the right foot forward in between the hands for another runner's lunge. Bring the left foot forward as well, and exhale into a forward bend. Inhale to come up, reaching back, opening the sternum, thrusting the hips forward, and exhale. Come back to a standing position. Once again, inhale back up and exhale, fold forward. By folding forward and stretching back, we're moving the blood around in the head. Step the left foot back to runner's lunge and the right foot back to plank. Lift the hips up so that the hips and shoulders are in one parallel line with the floor. Exhale slowly down, pause at 90 degrees with the elbows, and inhale up into upward facing dog. Only the tops of the feet connect with the floor and upward facing dog. Then exhale, roll over the toes come back to downward facing dog. Take deep breaths here and soften the upper body. Inhale the left leg up. And exhale, step it in between the hands for runner's lunge, looking forward. And the right foot comes forward again as well, and you're going to fold in towards the legs, using the biceps to pull the chest into the legs. Inhale up, reaching back, halves the pelvis, and coming back to a standing position, integrating the energy. Exhale down, bringing the face towards the legs again by pulling with the arms. Then hands on either sides of the feet, step the feet back, and slowly lower down into a plank pose, keeping the body stiff, poker stiff the whole time while you're in plank, and inhale up to upward dog. Don't let the hips or the upper thighs touch the mat here. Exhale back into downward facing dog. Release through the lower back and let it be straight. And let go of the neck as well. Allow the head to relax. Inhale the left leg up. And exhale, step the left foot forward in between the hands, lower the back knee down, and reach the arms up above you for high lunge, sinking into the hips and the right thigh here. Imagine you can breathe directly into the hips to keep softening and sinking lower and lower. Exhale the hands down, peel the left foot up off the mat and extend the left leg long while the hips move back over the back knee, and then grip the foot with the left arm and try to bring the chest closer and closer towards the leg, bringing the face towards the toes even. Then inhale back up into a high lunge, thrusting the hips forward and down here so that the hips become nice and split. Exhale back down to the half monkey position again. The hips are going to be just over the knee or even slightly behind it. The goal here is to lengthen through the left hamstring. Inhale back up into high lunge. And exhale, place the right shoulder, the right armpit over the right knee, and maintain a solid foundation there. Push the knee into the armpit and the armpit into the knee as you twist all the way behind you. The spine may click and make funny sounds here. Inhale back up into a low lunge. Exhale the hands down, inch the left foot out to the side a little bit, and then relax down onto your forearms, keeping the left leg hugging the body. The left knee might want to splay out to the side, but keep it hugging the body as much as possible as you lower down. Breathe deeply into the hips here, softening them more with each exhalation. Then tuck the back toe under if you want to deepen the stretch even more, and look forward. With each inhalation, create space in the hips, and with each exhalation, soften all the tension. Keep hugging the left knee in towards the body. And place equal weight between each forearm and the left leg. Then inhale back up to a runner's lunge with the knee on the outside of the body. And exhale back to plank. Inhale And exhale down slowly. And inhale up to upward facing dog. The abdomen must be opened here towards the sky as well as a tip. Then exhale back into downward facing dog. Reaching the heels towards the mat, staying rooted in the hands. Inhale the right leg up. And exhale, step the right leg forward, dropping the back knee. Inhale up to a low lunge on the other side. Keep the chest broad, reach up with the fingertips, but keep the shoulders relaxed. Don't reach the shoulders up, only reach the hands up. Exhale down, bring the hips over the back knee, grip the right foot with the right hand, and fold the upper body over the right leg. With each inhalation, lengthening the torso forward, and each exhalation softening closer towards the leg. Then inhale back up to a low lunge. Expressing the hips forward and down. Exhale the hands down to either side of the foot. Reach the hips back just over the back knee and fold again, using the right arm to pull yourself towards your foot, and try and keep the right leg straight as well. Inhale back up, reaching high, and exhale for a twist to the right. Place the left arm on the outside of the right knee. Bring the hands to a prayer and push the hands together as you twist the body back and look behind you. Then inhale back up to a low lunge. Imagine holding an orb above you. Exhale down, inching the right foot out to the side as you lower down onto your elbows. And make sure that the right foot stays close to the body enough so that it doesn't just stretch out to the side too much. The objective here is to keep the right knee as close to the body as possible and then sink as low as possible, because that'll open up the hips maximally. Inhale to a runner's lunge, right leg on the outside of the right hand. And exhale back to plank. Inhale before you go down and exhale down, feeling the strength in the push-up pose, and inhale up into an upward dog again. Reach the face high. Try to compress the lower back as well. Exhale down into downward facing dog. Jump up to the top of the mat and come into a forward bend. Drawing the face in between the legs if possible. Bring the hands to a prayer and reach it all the way behind you. And exhale to mountain. Take a moment here to focus on the breath before exhaling back down into a forward bend. Inhale, look forward, step the left foot back, turning the toes out 90 degrees. With the right hand on the inside of the right leg, lift the left arm way up, straight through the fingers. Try to make a straight line, if possible, between the left foot and the left hand. And keep the chest rotated up towards the sky. Then come back down into a high lunge, rotating forward, bringing the left leg straight with the toes tucked. Expressing back through the left heel, keep the right knee above the right ankle. Exhale down through runner's lunge. Inhale back to plank. And exhale, lower down, and inhale up into upward facing dog, reaching the chest high. The weight only in the hands and in the tops of the feet. Exhale to downward dog. Try and reach the chest towards the thighs, the upper chest towards the knees. Bring the left leg forward, putting the left hand on the inside of the left leg, the right toes 90 degrees turned outwards, and the chest faces up. The internal rotation of the torso, causing it to point towards the sky, is caused by the left shoulder pushing into the left knee and the vice versa. And exhale down, come into a high lunge again, staying strong through the standing legs, very, very strong. And sometimes the ground's a bit uneven, you lose your balance. Correct it and stay powerful here. Exhale down and inhale your left leg back into plank pose, looking forward as you exhale all the way down and inhale up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Come down into a kneeling position. Then come up onto your knees, and then put your hands in your lower back as if you're putting your hands into back pockets. Lean backwards, and then slowly lower the hands down to grip the heels, or, if possible, place the hands on either sides of the heels. Keep the pelvis thrusting forward here. This is camel pose. Expressing the sternum up and compressing the lower back. Come back up to sit with the buttocks down onto the heels again. And then to come into rabbit pose, grab the heels of both hands, put your top of your head onto the mat, the forehead near the knees, and then try to roll onto the back of the head. You won't be able to because you're gripping the heels, but try to roll onto the back of the head, and then by holding the heels, you open up the back a lot. It's great to practice this after a back bend like camel. Then come back to a kneeling position. Coming up onto the knees, with the hands in the back for support, pushing the hips forward as the head and upper body rolls back. If you can't reach both hands down to the feet, that's fine. Keep one on the lower back as you reach the other down to touch the heel, and then the one that's on the lower back, just extend up towards the sky. Inhale to come back up, putting the hands onto the lower back if you need that support to come back up. Exhale, back onto the heels. It's a wonderful pose. Enjoy it afterwards. Then come into child's pose, knees together, feet together, hands next to the feet, and the shoulders are melting over the knees with the head sinking into the mat. The whole back will release here after those back bends. Inhale, come back into downward facing dog, stepping the feet behind you. Inhale and exhale here deeply. Then bring the left knee forward, placing it next to the left wrist. Extend your right leg long behind you and make sure that the lower left leg is coming parallel to the front of the mat. Then grab both elbows in front of you and fold forward down onto the mat. Imagine you can breathe directly into your hips. Release more tension every time you exhale. To deepen the stretch, inch the left leg forward, bring the shin closer to parallel with the front of the mat. Inhale to come back up, tucking the right toes and bring the left leg back into a downward facing dog. Now to counterbalance that hip opening up, we're going to lift the left leg up, stack the hips so that the right hip is right above the left hip, and then just bend the left knee as you like, keeping the chest facing the mat. Don't open the chest too much out to the side. The stretch is going to be in the hips here, not in the torso. Remember, the right hip is going to be sitting directly above the left hip. Stay rooted through the hands. Inhale, stretch the leg out long again to three-legged dog and slowly lower it down into downward facing dog. Now with forward fold pigeon on the other side, we're going to inhale and bring the right foot towards the left wrist, lowering all the way down, extending the left arm back behind you, grabbing each elbow with the opposite hand to make a box around the head, and then folding forward with the head resting in between this box. Reach the box of the arms more forward, if you like, to deepen the stretch and also to inch the right foot forward to deepen the stretch too. Trying to sink the hips into the mat and release all the tension there. Take deep breaths, inhaling to open up the space in the hips, and then exhale to release all the tension that you feel. Just focusing on the breath and the feeling in the hips. Inhale to come up. Tuck the back toes. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Twist the hips open, stacking the hips on top of each other. Don't let the chest rotate as well. Keep that pointed towards the floor. And bend the right knee freely. Just let it hang as it does. Making sure you can feel the counter stretch in the hips here. Inhale, extend the right leg back behind you, and exhale, bring it down into downward facing dog again. Relaxing the chest. Then come to a kneeling position again. Lift the chest up, take a few deep breaths. Then come to bring the hips towards the right and the left leg over the right leg, bringing the knees towards stacking. And the sitting bones, crucially, must be rooted here because they're going to want to lift up. And then fold forward over the legs. So keep pushing the sitting bones down as you fold more forward, and this will release the tension in the hips. It's quite a relaxing pose, so take some deep breaths and enjoy it. The chest is on top of the knees here, and you're trying to extend the chest forward to increase the fold. Lengthening it out. Lengthening out the back on each inhalation and each exhalation, folding forward. Then come up, and for the other side, you're going to put the left hips out to the side, and then the right leg comes over the left with the knees stacking and the whole torso folding over the knees. Keep both sitting bones rooted first and then try to extend forward. By extending too far forward, the sitting bones will lift up. Rather, don't fold as far forward and keep the sitting bones rooted. That's the priority. Inhale to come up, and back to kneeling. Now we're going to come into a wide-legged seated position. Extend the feet as wide as you can out in front of you. The knees must be connected to the floor here. Don't let the knees bend, and keep the toes pointed up and the feet flexed. Inhale deeply to lift the arms up, and exhale down to the left with the right thumb and fingers around the big toe and gripping the left foot with the left hand, pulling the body towards the foot with the left and right hand attached to the foot, expanding through the chest, lifting it up towards the sky. Inhale back up, And exhale down to the other side with the left fingers connecting around the toe, and the right hand is gripping the foot. The right elbow pushes against the right knee, or the right shoulder against the right knee, depending on where the arm is situated in relation to the leg. And the face points up entirely towards the sky. Keep the right and left sitting bone both rooted evenly here. Inhale, back up, and exhale down to the other side again. Look underneath your arm and expand the chest up towards the sky. Keep trying to rotate the chest up towards the sky all the time by pushing with the left hand into the left knee. Left arm into the left knee, rather. Inhale up and exhale down to the other side. The two peace fingers are going to wrap around the toe here, and the thumb grips the other side of the toe. That's the ideal way to keep the hand around the toe. If you can't reach the foot, just come towards reaching it. You don't have to grip it if you can't reach it just yet. Then inhale, back up. And now a deep breath in and fold all the way down, walking the hands out in front of you, relaxing, releasing the lower back so it can extend further forward, extending the arms as forward as you can, reaching forward and lowering the chest and abdomen towards the ground here, keeping the feet flexed. And make sure you're reaching forward directly in the middle of your body so that it stretches each inner thigh equally. Enjoy the smell of the grass. As you feel the pose get deeper, you can walk your hands out further forward if you like to deepen the stretch. Walk your hands back up, lift the torso up, and bring the feet together slowly. They're going to be quite sensitive maybe to the front of the mat, into staff pose, pressing the hands into the mat on either side of the hips. Then place the hands behind the hips. Inhale, lift the hips up, put the toes and the whole foot into the mat if you can, and lean the head back. This is to counter stretch all the forward bending. And exhale back down, pushing the hands once again into the mat besides the buttocks to keep the spine very straight. Then the right foot comes with the sole of it against the inner thigh. Inhale and reach the arms beyond the foot. Take hold of the left wrist with the right hand beyond the foot, if possible. And with each inhalation, lengthen forward, and each exhalation, soften down towards the leg. Keep the knee on the floor and the toes splayed out wide on the left foot and reaching upwards. Use the biceps to pull the chest towards the foot and find the balance between effort and relaxation. Then inhale, come back up and stretch the right leg out for staff again. And for the other side, bring the sole of the left foot to the inside of the right thigh, keeping the hips facing forward. Inhale the arms up and exhale, fold forward, taking the wrist beyond the foot if you can. If you can't grab the wrist, just grab the foot with the hands or even the ankle, calf. As long as you're grabbing the leg with the hands in some place and pulling the torso forward with the arms. That's why we're gripping, so that we can pull with the arms to lengthen the torso over the legs. Inhale to extend forward and exhale to soften down. Inhale, extend the torso forward, exhale, soften down towards the legs again. Inhale to come up, stretching the left leg out in front. And now for upward plank again, with the hands behind the hips and the toes and feet reaching towards the mat, keeping the toes together as well. And try to push up through the hips here. That's where the counter stretch has to be, is in the hips, to counteract the forward bends. Then lower back down. Move down your mat, because we're going to come into a plow pose now. With the feet behind the head. Lower down. Keep the knees together, raise the legs up, and stretch the feet to the mat behind you. Interlace the fingers. Push the hands down into the mat. Draw the biceps together. Extend through the heels, reach all the way from the upper back down to the heels, feeling the stretch from the upper back, through the lower back, through the hips, thighs, or hamstrings rather, all the way down to the heels. Keep reaching the heels back and try to keep the legs straight here, and lock the chin into the chest as well. Bringing the chest towards the chin, not the chin towards the chest. Then lower the knees down to hug the head with the knees next to the ears. This is called ear pressure pose. The chin lock should be becoming more intense now, with the chest being pushed further and further into the chin. This contracts the thyroid gland. It's one of the best postures for healing purposes in that area. Steady breaths. Watch the belly expanding and contracting, if you like. Then raise the legs back up and interlace the fingers and move back down onto the mat into a prone position. Send the hands underneath the hips here, with the palms facing down, and then arch through the back and bring the head to rest onto the mat. Push down through the elbows, lift up through the chest, open the sternum, and gently rest the top of the head on the mat so that the neck can be entirely released. This is a counter stretch for that chin lock that we were just doing. the hips stay rooted well and the elbows lift up. Then inhale, lift the head up first and then lower back down. And take the arms out from underneath the body with the palms facing up. Bend at the knees. And place the right ankle on top of the left thigh. Grip around the left leg, just underneath the knee, with the right arm going in between the gap made between the right leg. Interlacing the fingers just underneath the knee, and then keeping the lower back rooted. It's going to want to peel up, but try and keep the lower back rooted as you squeeze the left knee towards the chest. This will give a nice stretch in the right hips. Keep both feet flexed and the toes pointing up and away from each other. Always rooting down the lower back as you squeeze the knee closer towards the chest, because squeezing the knee towards the chest is going to raise the lower back off the floor. Then exhale the feet back down to the mat and place the left ankle on top of the right thigh. Interlace the fingers just underneath the right knee with the left hand going in between the gap made by the left leg. And squeezing again, squeezing the knee towards the chest, breathing deeply into the left hip. This is a reclined variant of the forward fold pigeon we were doing earlier. Bring the feet back down and put the hands in between the legs and grab the outer sides of both feet, pulling the knees down towards the armpits on either side of the ribs, with the hands pulling so that the upper legs are parallel to the floor and the knees are coming down towards the floor by pulling the feet down into the knees and the knees down towards the earth. This is called happy baby pose. There should be a wonderful stretch in the hip area here. Release the feet. Hug the knees towards the chest. Exhale the arms out to the side and twist the knees down to the right hand side, rotating the head towards the left, keeping the knees together and keeping the knees reaching towards the floor and the shoulders into the floor. Don't let the left shoulder lift up. The first priority is to keep the shoulders rooted into the mat, and then to twist the knees further to the right, and then to twist the head further to the left. So in that order of 3 actions. Inhale the feet back up first and then the head back to center, and exhale the feet down, the knees down to the other side. The feet are connected, the knees, you must try and keep them connected, although the right knee might be lifting up away from the left knee, but try and root it down. Remember that the shoulders have to be pushing into the ground at all times. If they're lifting up, then Don't twist so much through the knees, or don't rotate the head as much to the other side. Inhale the legs and knees back to center. Hug the chest, turn the head towards the center, and now rock from side to side, squeezing the knees into the chest, massaging the lower vertebra against the mat to release any tension and promote relaxation. Then bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees open wide like a book, and grab each opposite elbow to make a box around the head. This is reclined goddess. Let the knees lower towards the ground with gravity and keep the soles of the feet pushing into each other firmly. Then bring the knees back together, closing them like a book, and extend the legs out long. Let the feet flop out to the side. Relax the feet, and let the hands flop out to the side, with the hands a few inches away from the hips, not right next to the body this time. Take long, deep breaths and relax into the corpse pose. In this pose, the objective is to clear the mind. It's one of the hardest poses to do. Relaxing through the feet and toes, all the way up through the calves, releasing the knees, the thighs, the glutes, softening the hips, letting them sink into the ground. Feel the whole hip area heavy like a stone, and just let gravity pull it towards the earth, softening through the spine all the way up to the neck and the shoulders and the upper arms, lower arms, the hands, even the fingertips. Release them. The fingers might start curling in towards the hands once you stop tensing any of the muscles in that area. Release the neck. Let that melt into the mat. Release the head, the temples, the forehead, all the wrinkles in the face. Let them just soften away. All the little muscles around the eyes that scrunch up the eyes, each one of them, release them. Let the tongue just relax in the mouth. And then wiggle the fingers and toes to bring life back into the body. Extend the arms overhead. Stretch out long to bring awareness back to the body. And then come to sit up right in a comfortable cross-legged position or in full lotus. Bring the hands to center, big smile, Namaste. This is the second part of the Vinyasa class. This is focusing on balance. It's suitable for intermediates. Coming into a meditative posture. Then into tabletop, with the hips directly above the knees and the shoulders directly above the hands. Inhale to cat, reaching the spine up. Exhale to cow, reaching the spine down in the opposite direction. And inhale back to cat, tucking the tailbone under. And exhale to cow, dropping the abdomen down and bringing the tailbone towards the head, if you can imagine that. Inhale back to cat, arching through the spine. And exhale to cow. Inhaling, reaching the chin towards the chest as the stomach sucks in, and exhale, flex the spine in the opposite direction. Inhale, back to cat. Exhale to neutral. Now extend the right leg back and the left arm forward. This is the balancing table posture. And one good thing about yoga is that you learn to stay focused even when there are distractions. Even when you happen to be so rudely blocking the path for some people trying to just walk past. And then extend the left leg out long and the right arm out long as well, to make a straight line between the fingers and the toes here. Try and reach the left foot back as if someone's pulling your left foot back from behind you. And exhale back down to tabletop. Now inhale back onto balancing table on the other side. And now you're going to reach the left hand back to grip the right foot for one-handed tiger pose. The hand's going to go on the outside of the foot, and the foot just kicks back, the shin lifts up, and the chest, the left shoulder expands. The chest faces forward though. Don't let the torso rotate too much to the side. Let go of the foot. Come back into tabletop. Neutralize the spine. Inhale the right leg back and the left leg back and the right arm forward. And send the right hand back to grip around the foot. Again, staying rooted in the left hand, maintaining the balance. If there's wobbliness, that's fine. Just keep the foundation through the kicking and through the left arm pushing into the mat. Then you're going to come back into tabletop pose. And then come to child's pose. Lowering the torso down over the knees, letting the shoulders melt over the knees, and the face relax into the mat. Deep inhalations and exhalations. For each exhalation, feel the back widening. Inhale, reach your arms forward, and exhale into a downward facing dog, reaching the heels towards the mat and expressing the chest towards the knees. Try to make a V shape here, with the weight evenly spread between the hands and feet. Then hop or step forward into a standing position. Palms facing out. Take a few breaths and prepare yourself for the balancing poses, extending the right hands out in front, coming up onto the toes, reaching the heels up and then lowering the hips down. Keep reaching the heels high, keep reaching the hips down. Hips down, heels up, arms out in front, back coming towards straight, and then inhale back up into a standing pose. Exhale deeply, and then inhale back into a back bend. Reaching the hands away from you, lifting the sternum, and then exhale, come back into a standing pose. Now we're going to come back up onto the toes, reaching the heels high, lowering the hips. Come down only as far as you can to balance. And once you've reached the spot at which you feel most comfortable, try and keep the back straight. Don't let it lean forward so much. Then come inhale back up to standing. Exhale, and then inhale again for a back bend. Pushing the hips forward and opening up the whole chest towards the sky. And exhale, bringing the hands towards a prayer in the center of the chest for standing position. Then interlace the fingers and stretch the hands towards the ceiling with the palms facing the ceiling and the fingers interlaced, and press down through the balls of both feet as well. Try and make the body as long as you can. Just lengthen as much as possible here, all the way to the fingers and down to the toes. But keep the shoulders relaxed. Don't stretch the shoulders up, only the arms. Then come back down to standing. Inhale for another back bend. And exhale for a forward bend. Now reach the left leg back and the right arms forward. Try and keep a straight line between the left foot and the hands. As if someone's pulling the left foot back from behind you. Try and straighten out the standing leg and then bend the standing leg and lower down into a high lunge. Stay strong through the left heel, pushing back, and make sure that the right knee lines up over the right ankle here. Exhale down to a runner's lunge. Inhale back to plank. And exhale to lower down, making sure that the hips, shoulders and head stay in one parallel line here, and the elbows come to 90 degrees to pause just before rolling over the toes into upward dog. Then exhale, roll back over the feet. Don't stand on too many plants. And then bring the left foot in between the hands. This is for warrior 3 now, on the other side. Reaching forward with your hands, stretching back with the toes. Bring the right foot to a point if you can, and the hands straight, stretched out in front. Then bend the standing leg first. That's how you come out of that and into high lunge. The standing leg has to bend first, and then you lower the back leg down. Tucking the tailbone in, feeling the stretch in the right thigh more by doing this, and exhaling the hands down on either side of the foot. Then bringing the right foot forward and exhale into a standing forward bend. Inhale to come up, reaching back, and exhale to mountain again. Inhaling for another back bend, just slightly, and exhale down to a forward bend. Hands on either side of the feet, step the right foot back, turning the right foot out 90 degrees, straighten the left leg, and lower the left hand down to the outside of the left foot, or keep it on the shin if that's too far. Extend the right arm up. Keep a straight line from the left hand to the right hand if you can, and pull the head away from the tailbone. Stretch the tailbone back, and then come down to half moon pose with the left hand just a foot in front of the left foot, and then the right leg lifts up and the right arm points to the sky as well. Find the balance here, it can be quite challenging. Then bend the left leg, lower the right leg down, inhale up to reverse warrior, reaching the right hand down the back leg, and the left arm extends way back. Then inhale back up and down to runner's lunge. Inhale, step back into plank. Exhale, lower down, bending at the elbows. Look forward first and then roll over the feet into upward dog. Only the tops of the feet and the hands touch the floor there. Exhale into downward facing dog. Letting the whole torso soften as if the V shape is coming to, snapping like a hinge. Bring the right foot forward and the left leg turns out 90 degrees. Stretching all the way up with the left hand. The tailbone and the head, you reach them away from each other here. Then come into half moon as well on the other side with the left hand onto the hips and the right hand out in front on the mat. Extending the left leg so that it makes 90 degrees with the right leg. Find one point to fix your gaze on and don't move it from there. It'll make the balancing easier. Bending the right leg, lowering the left leg down. Come up into reverse warrior again. Opening up through the side body here. Feel it all the way from the ribs up to the armpit. And reach the left hand down the left leg. Inhale to come up and exhale down for another runner's lunge. Inhale, bring your left foot forward and exhale into a forward bend. Inhale to come up into a slight back bend. And exhale back to mountain pose. Bending at the knees, bringing the left leg over the right leg, tucking the foot behind and the right arm on top of the left arm, bringing the palms together, twisting them around if you can, then sinking low with the hips, keeping the back straight. Lift the elbows up, relax through the shoulder blades, and keep your eyes fixed on an unmoving point to maintain this balance. This is called eagle pose. Inhale to come back up into standing. And then for the other side, the right leg twists around the left, hooking the leg around the calf. And then the opposite hands come over each other. Maybe if the palms don't reach towards each other, that's fine. Just try and keep the elbows locked in with the left elbow in the crease of the right elbow. Bring the left foot up, wrap the 2 peace fingers and thumb around the left toe and extend the left leg out in front. Standing hand to big toe pose. Try and keep the standing leg straight as much as you can. Try and pull the left shoulder back into its socket. The left arm is going to want to pull the left shoulder forward, but keep the back straight and in line. Then release the toe, and without putting the foot back down on the floor, come into King Dancer by putting the hand around the top of the foot behind you and then leaning forward as you kick into the left hand. The more you kick, the more you might have to lean forward, but don't lean forward just on its own. Only use the forward leaning to counteract the leg kicking up behind you. And exhale back down to a standing position. Left hand on the hip. Interlace. No, not interlace. Take the 2 peace fingers and the thumb and wrap them around the big toe. Extend the big toe out in front. Keep the back straight and imagine there's a string pulling the top of your head up. Yeah. To maintain a straight back, tall posture. Exhale. Stay on the left foot. Grab around the inside of the back foot, the hand on top of it, and then kick, 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 lifting up the knee, lifting up the shin, kicking through the foot. And as it lifts up more, allow the torso to lower down towards the front and find a nice even balance where you can maintain the balance without dropping out of it, and then come back down to a standing pose. Exhale. Come down to downward facing dog. Lower the knees to the mat. Sit back on the heels. Place the fingertips behind the feet and gently lean back so that the feet get a lovely stretch here. This is because we've just been doing some balancing poses on one foot at a time. So this is to stretch out the feet. Play with the weight, putting some of it into the hands, some of it into the feet, more of it into the feet, less into the hands, and then come back to sitting up straight. Hands down in front, tabletop position. Slide the left arm under the right until the left ear and left shoulder reach the mat. Then extend the right arm up. This is threading the needle pose. It's going to open up through the neck and upper back here. And exhale, bring the hand down, unthread the left arm to tabletop again. And slide the right arm underneath the left hand with the shoulder resting on the mat, and extend the other arm up towards the sky. Feel the release in the right shoulder here. Lowering the left hand down, come back into a tabletop position, lowering the elbows to the mat about shoulder width apart, interlace the fingers tightly, and then lower the crown of the head onto the floor so that the hands cradle the back of the head. Make sure that the crown is on the floor here. And then tuck the toes, walk the feet forward, let the feet lift off the mat automatically, don't jump them up. Keep walking the feet towards the hips until they automatically lift off the floor by the action of the hips pulling them up. And raise the legs all the way up, keeping them poker stiff. The forearms, elbows, and the support on the head are used just to check any imbalances, and the weight should not be left in these parts and relied upon in that place. Rather, the weight must be through a coin-sized area of the head. So in the crown of the head, imagine there's a coin or a medallion, a big coin, and you're pushing the head into this coin, into the floor. That's where the balance comes from. Eventually you'll be able to take away the head support and just balancing on that coin. If you want, you can open your legs to the side, twist them around, doing a splits in the air, twisting around the other side, doing all kinds of tricks, if you like. And then to lower back down, send the hips forward and keep the legs straight. Lowering the toes all the way down, untucking them, and now you're going to come into a child's pose. Keep visualizing how the shoulders melt over the knees here. Inhale to sit up. Come to lying on your back, but move down the mat a bit because you're going to be using plow to reach the knees, the feet behind us. Peel the back up off the mat, interlace the fingers, stretch through the heels with the toes tucked onto the floor behind you. The feet can't be seen, but the toes are just tucked into the floor here, reaching through the heels. And the chest is brought towards the chin, and there's deep breathing through the nose. Watch the abdomen rising and falling. Whole stretch is from the upper back all the way down through the hamstrings. Bring the hands to the lower back and lift the legs up. Place the hands onto the outsides of the ribs and keep that support as you reach the feet straight up. Try and keep from the shoulders all the way to the toes one long straight line, pushing the chest into the chin. And take deep breaths. See how the abdomen expands and contracts here with each inhalation and exhalation. Inhale and exhale. This is one of the greatest poses that we can do for our health. Bending the knees, slowly lower back down, take the hands off the ribs, lower the back down onto the mat, and recenter on the mat here as well. With the hands underneath the lower body, with the palms facing down. Inhale, press through the elbows, arch the spine, arch the chest, and lower the head down to rest the crown of the head on the mat. Relax the neck entirely. This is just to counter stretch the previous poses. The shoulder stand and its cycle. Inhale to bring the head up first and then lower back down onto the mat. Bending at the knees. Hug both knees towards the chest. Then lay the hands out long. Grapevine the legs around each other if you like, just as we did in eagle pose just now, with the left leg on top of the right, and then lowering down to the right hand side. Send the gaze over towards the left fingers now. The shoulders must be rooted primarily, and then the knees can lower down further and the head can rotate further. Then for the other side, switch the grapevining of the legs and then turn the head towards the right, looking over the right fingers. Deep breaths. Feel the twist in the spine here, especially along the neck and head if you can rotate the head quite far to the right. Inhale the knees back to center and then the head afterwards. Hug the knees towards the chest by placing each hand on the opposite elbow, and then rock from side to side. Just massage the lower back, getting rid of any tension. Lower the feet back down and stretch out into corpse for a relaxation now. Just like the previous relaxation, scan all the way from the feet all the way up to the head, letting any tension release and feeling each body part sink into the floor like a stone. Make a commitment to have no more wiggles here, to stay dead still for the next minute. Then come up into a seated position, facing the front of the mat. Bring the hands to a prayer at heart center. Smiles all around. What a lovely location to do yoga. Namaste.